So what do you do when you're outsourcing and you come across something you don't recognize? These days, most people use Google Lens. It works well, but it's not really made for us resellers. It doesn't tell you what the item's worth or if it's worth picking up to resell. And while you can get at that information, it takes a bunch of extra steps to find it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a simple AI tool that works like Google Lens to help you identify unknown items, but it'll also help you get all the information you need to make a buying decision without having to take a bunch of extra steps like you do in Google Lens. I use this pretty much every day when I'm outsourcing at thrift stores and garage sales and flea markets and wherever. It's super easy. There's no coding required, so let's build it. Hello and welcome back to my weekly show where I talk about the ups and downs and in-betweens of selling on eBay. I got a packed show for you this week. I did go to garage sales this past weekend, so we'll talk through some of the stuff I found at garage sales. We're also going to take a look back at July because it's August. Well, it's like almost mid-August at this point. I haven't talked about my July performance yet, so we'll review that month, take a look at my July numbers, then we'll look at my last week numbers and everything that I sold and my top 10 sales and all that stuff. But first, we're going to jump right back into building this AI tool. So first, it runs on ChatGPT. If you've never used ChatGPT before, it's basically a very smart chatbot. You type something in and it responds. For example, you could say, write a Craigslist ad for a used mannequin with a cracked neck and a standard base and haunted energy, and it'll do exactly that. But the cool thing about ChatGPT is it'll basically do almost anything that you ask it to. So you could follow up with, okay, make it sound more serious and remove the haunted stuff and add dimensions and local pickup only. And it rewrites that whole thing instantly. And that's really the power here with using ChatGPT to build a tool like this. You can shape it and refine it and keep steering it until it gives you exactly what you need. And so that's what we're going to do today with this reselling tool that we're going to build right now. So to do this the right way, it does require a ChatGPT Pro plan, which costs about $20 a month. But personally, I think it's really worth it. I use ChatGPT for a ton of different stuff, reselling related, non-reselling related. You don't have to use the Pro plan, but it does make it a ton easier to create a custom tool like we're going to do right now and train it in the way that we're going to train it. So I do recommend that you use a ChatGPT Pro plan to build this tool. All right, so we're looking at the dashboard of ChatGPT right here. And instead of using the main ChatGPT chat bar right here, we're going to go over to the left where it says GPTs. Again, you have to have the Pro plan to be able to do this. A GPT, just think of this as like a very customized version of ChatGPT that you can create for a very specific reason, to serve a very specific purpose or do a very specific job, like help you identify items for resale. They show you a bunch of other GPTs that other people have created that you can use, but we're going to create our own. So on the top right, you can hit create. And you end up on a screen like this. So on the left side, you can see it's split in two. On the left side, you have the create. So this is how you interact with the GPT to train it and tell it what you want it to do. And then on the right, you're able to preview it and use the actual GPT as you're creating it. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in and do this. I'm going to actually just talk to it. Normally, I would just type to it, but since I'm making a video, I figured it would make more sense to just talk to it. You can do it either way here. So here's what I want you to do, GPT. I want you to, first, I want to give you a name. Your name is the Sorcerer in all caps. And what you're going to do for me here is anytime I upload an image, you are going to respond. You're going to identify that image and respond with an SEO optimized title for eBay specifically. So I upload a photo and you respond to that photo with an SEO optimized title for eBay. So let's try it out. A little bit wordy, but you get the idea. So let's go ahead and just test it out and see how it does. I'm going to take a picture and just send it on over, and let's see how it does. You've got a radial JDI passive direct box in its box. Yeah, so far it's not doing anything that I told it to do, so let's try it again. When I upload a photo, I want you to respond with nothing else but an SEO optimized title for a listing on eBay for the item that's in the image. And because you're working with AI here, it can be a little persnickety. It can be kind of difficult to deal with, and you kind of have to retrain it sometimes. Okay, there we go. So all set. The Sorcerer will now reply to your uploaded image with nothing except a well-crafted SEO optimized eBay title. You can try uploading your first photo now. All right, let's do it. There you go. There's my SEO optimized title. So they got it right. It's a JDI MK3 passive direct box. Let's try one more image just to see here. This one is probably a little bit harder to identify, I would imagine. This is just a Matchbox or a Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels 57 Chevy. Okay, yeah. That's pretty good. Already it's helpful. It's identifying what's in the image. Let's go ahead and try this hat. New Era 5950 Washington Nationals fitted hat, 7 1/8. Is that right? Yep, we got the size right. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, so already this is helpful for us. This is identifying the item that's in the image and giving us an SEO optimized title that we could use later. But let's not stop there. Let's make this a little bit more useful. So let's go ahead and give it some more instructions. In addition to the SEO optimized title, I also want you to tell me the estimated list value on eBay using eBay prices, both active eBay listings and sold eBay listings for both a new condition of the image, the item that I show you in the image, and used condition. Let's see how it does. I kind of botched that a little bit, but we'll see how it does. It says it's ready to go. So let's go ahead and let's give it that box again here. Okay, so it's giving us an eBay listing title optimized. And again, you'll notice it's different from the one before. Every time you put something in there, even if you use the exact same image, it's likely going to be different because it's going through a different process to actually render out that information. That's just a side effect of AI, not necessarily a bad thing, but just an interesting thing. So then now we've got estimated eBay list value for new, approximately 249 to 250 based on multiple buy it now listings. Used, typically around 180 to 190 with listings showing pre-owned units in that price range. Let's actually take a look because I just sold this thing recently. I'm just going to pull up Flipwise here and take a look and see what mine sold for. Oops. JDI, looks like mine sold for, what did it sell for? 206, 199 plus 699 in shipping, and it told me, and mine was in mine was in new condition, so a little bit lower, so it inflated a little bit. And so that's just part of the problem with using AI to price things is AI doesn't have access to eBay sold data or active data. eBay keeps that data pretty close to its chest. It doesn't provide that data in its API to everyone. And so AI is going out and either scraping the open web or it's using its own internal models to give a suggested price here. And often it's just not right. And so you should not use this to be definitive. You know, just like you don't want to use eBay's suggested pricing to be the definitive answer of how much you should price something for. You need to do your own research. The purpose of this is to give you a rough idea of value. Typically, it's going to be close, but it's not going to be exact, so be careful. So this is helpful. So I think the next thing that I would like this AI tool to do for me is I want it to tell me whether I should buy it to resell or not. And I think the way that I want to do that is I want it to tell me the max price that I should pay for it if I want to double my money effectively. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, along with an optimized eBay listing title and the estimated eBay list value, I want a third section in your response, and I want that to be the maximum that I should pay if I were to purchase this to buy it to resell, keeping in mind that I want to at least double my money. And I want you to take into account eBay fees as well, and I want you to use 15% for eBay fees. We'll see how that does. Okay, so it says the Sorcerer is now set to give you an SEO optimized eBay title, estimated eBay values for new and used, and the maximum price you should pay to resell at double profit for after 15% in eBay fees. Let's go ahead and upload the image. We're going to use the same one. Okay, here we go. So SEO optimized title, there it is. Estimated list value. It's a little bit different than it was before, but it's pretty close. And then now we've got a third section, maximum purchase price for resale with 2x ROI after 15% eBay fees. So for a new unit, it's saying that to double your money, you should your cost should be at most $106 because $106 times 2 is $212. After fees, approximately $212.50 if I sold it at $250. It's not accounting for shipping here, so keep that in mind as well. For a used unit, it's saying I should pay no more than $78 to achieve the same ROI. So already that's getting pretty helpful. That's telling me if I'm out at a thrift store and I scan this and it's $50, it's under $78 there. And it's giving me this summary table. And again, it's going to give you stuff that you may want or may not want, and you can just tell it exactly what you want and clean it up. That's a part of the training that you need to do to get this to work the way that you want it to do. So I'm going to get some additional training to it right now. Okay, this is good, but the maximum purchase price for both new and used, I don't need you to show your work about how you got those numbers. I just want you to tell me, don't pay more than X for a new unit, or don't pay more than Y for a used unit. So I'm just trying to clean up some of the noise of extra words around there because I just don't find it all that helpful and I don't want that. So we'll go ahead and ask it to do that there. Okay. Yeah, you can see now it reacting to it. It says number 3, straightforward, don't pay more than prices for both new and used units. Perfect. Let's give it a different image this time. This is a fun one. This is a Margaritaville Santa Claus. We'll see what it does here. Margaritaville Santa figurine tropical Hawaiian. So this is a good one to use because this one it just got completely wrong. Like, let's take a look at this because I actually sold this one very recently. Yeah, look at that. See, I sold it for $199. And what's it telling me? It's telling me it didn't pick up. It picked up that it's a Margaritaville, but it didn't pick up exactly what it was or what it's worth. It's saying it's only worth 28 to 35 or 18 to 24. And don't pay more than 12 or 8. And when the reality is it's worth a lot more than that. So this is a good example of like, you just can't trust it all the time. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. I actually do want to add a few more things because I like to, do my own research because again, some of these prices are going to be wrong. And so let's make it easy to do my research. Okay, so the next section is number 4. And I want you to, in this section, provide 3 to 5 keywords that I might use to find the item in eBay's search. So it looks like its response, got it. The Sorcerer will now give you just one short natural keyword phrase in section 4, not multiple bullets or lists. So I think this should probably get it. Let's use a different image this time. How about this thing? What is this thing? Oh, this is some sort of medical book. Okay. Good. There you go. Antique health knowledge illustrated medical book set. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay. Now, also under number 4, I want you to provide 2 links. One word is active, and I want that word to be hyperlinked to the active listing search results based on the keywords that you provided. And the second link, I want to be the word sold, and I want that to be a sold search on eBay, showing only sold listings using those search keywords. I kind of botched that one, so we'll see if it figures it out. I might have to do a little bit more refining of it. All right, let's go ahead and try that medical book again. Active and sold, so let's go ahead and try that. We're going to open it up. That's active, perfect. Just using those keywords. Sold, we're going to open it up. Good, using those keywords. Yeah, so that did it perfect. So now what I'll be able to do is when I upload an image and it gives me all this stuff, it's also going to give me direct links to active and sold. And I probably need to refine this model a little bit more so that it gives me a little bit better keywords. That's not a super great collection of keywords. I'm not going to do that right now. But again, you can just refine it as much as possible. And just like whatever you tell it to do, it's going to do. And I can't stress that enough. And you really just work with it as if it was some sort of like person that you've hired to help you. Because it's going to do whatever you want it to do. And like, let's just use this for an example. I also now want a 5th section where you're going to write the description for the eBay listing of this item, but I want you to write it as if it belongs in a Harry Potter book. So you really could just do whatever you want here and be creative. I mean, obviously you wouldn't make a listing with this, but I'm just using this to illustrate that you can really tell it to do whatever you want it to do. So let's see what it does here. What is this thing? This is some sort of Jim Shore. It'll be interesting to see if it figures this one out. Yeah, Jim Shore, Hartwood Creek. Look at that. Very good. There you go. There's the whimsical Harry Potter style description. There's my active and sold links. That's perfect. Yeah, that was a really good example of this working out really well. So what you can do, just hit update in the top right, just like that. That's going to update the GPT. And then you can then use it while you're out sourcing in thrift stores or garage sales or flea markets or wherever. You can pull it up. You basically download the ChatGPT app to your phone. That GPT is going to show up there as long as you're logged into the same account on your phone, and then you can just walk around and pick stuff up and scan it, and it's going to use that same training model that you just gave it to identify whatever you want. And you really can just turn this into whatever you need it to be. Again, take some of the results with a grain of salt, especially around pricing. Make sure you do your extra research to make sure that it's not giving you bad information. But overall, you can really just tailor this to be exactly what you want. And I find it to be very, very useful out in the field. I obviously simplified that quite a bit when running you through it. There's so much you can do with ChatGPT. You can make that way more complex, be way more catered to your specific workflows. But I just had 10 minutes or so to run you through the basics. But hopefully that's helpful. By the way, if you use ChatGPT for this purpose already or for some other reselling purpose, I'd love to hear how you have trained a GPT to do your work for you in the reselling world. So let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear some of the crazy stuff you've set up. But for now, let's take a look at the stuff I picked up at garage sales this past weekend. Not a ton of stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of garage sales out. I feel like later in the year like this, the garage sales start to wane a little bit. So wasn't finding a whole lot, but we'll check it out anyway. All right, let's start with these Harry Potter books. These, I only paid $1 each. And for some reason in my head, I thought they were worth like $20, $25, but turns out this one's only probably worth about $10. And this one's maybe worth about $15. So this ended up being not a very good buy because this will be $10 including shipping, and it's pretty heavy. And I'm just, I'll get my $1 back. I'm not going to make any money on this. I'll make a few dollars, but this just ended up being not a good buy. And in my head, they were just worth more money than they actually were. So just shows you should probably look stuff up before you buy. But at $1 each, not a big deal, not a huge loss there. This is an Apple Airport Extreme. Again, only $1, but it should go for $20 if it's in working condition, and it should be easy to test. So this was an okay pickup for only $1. I also got this. What is this? This is a lens bag, pretty nice lens bag actually. The brand is Low Pro, only $1, and it's the Scout SH100. I think this should probably go for $15 plus shipping. That's my guess. And then I got this Disney baby brand Winnie the Pooh diaper bag for $1 as well. This thing in used condition should probably go for $25 to $35 is my guess. It's in decent condition, so I think it should be a pretty good sale. That's it. Not a very good day at garage sales. All right, since we are in August now, almost mid-August, I sort of missed reviewing my July numbers. So let's take a look at those July numbers right now. So it looks like for the month of July, I had a total gross sale amount of $7,773 and a net sale amount of $3,683, which is really good. That's a good month just regardless for me, but it's especially good because look, 7/18 through 7/24, I was on vacation. I had vacation mode turned on. And so that's a full week basically with no sales, yet I got above my goal. And so part of that is because of that consignment deal that I've talked to you all about in the past, and you're going to see on some of my top 10 sales here in a minute. That's where I did a consignment deal for a friend of a friend, and I don't do consignment deals all that often, only for very good friends or when the inventory is really special. And this is a situation where the inventory is super special. It's just really awesome. It's the friend of a friend is a former guitarist of a 90s metal band that you probably know the name of, and this is the collection of stuff that he picked up on the road touring around the world. And there's just some amazing stuff in this collection. You'll see it pop up in the top 10 sales, but that's why these numbers are as high as they are, is because I'm just selling some pretty valuable stuff that I normally don't sell, but also my margins are lower because I'm doing a consignment deal. So I didn't pay anything for the inventory, but I am splitting the net return 50-50. And so my margins are lower. Usually they're about 10% higher. So mixed in with my other sales, those consignment deals are bringing down my margins, but it's okay because the sales are higher. My average gross per sale is way higher. My average net per sale is way higher than it normally is by about $10 to $13 or so. This is that consignment deal at the top. You can see that's where I was generating most of my money in July. So it looks like $1,100 in the month of July were net sales. So almost a third of my sales came from this consignment deal. Coming on down here, it looks like I spent $309 on new inventory in July. My cost of goods sold was $375. I spent a little over $1,000 in marketplace fees and $856 in shipping labels. I did have 130 new listings over the month and 106 sales. sales, but look at that. It would have been much higher had I not turned vacation mode on. When I have vacation mode turned on, I don't allow sales. You can do that. You can allow sales. Personally, I like to go on vacation and just completely check out. I don't want to be bothered by people messaging me or asking why their item hasn't shipped. And so you can do that though if you don't mind interacting while you're on vacation. You can make some money while you're on vacation. Personally, I just like to turn it off. My average time to list in July was 3 days. My average time to sell was 4 months, and my return on investment was 582%. But let's take a look at last week in particular, because this is a weekly show. So let's see how I did last week. Looks like over the past 7 days, I had a gross sale amount of $1,471 and a net sale of $900. My average gross per sale continues to be high. My average net per sale is very high as well, even higher than it was in July. Net profit margins are really high as well. Looks like garage sales are where most of my net return is coming from over the past week, and that consignment deal that I was talking about comes in at number 2 there. Coming on down, I didn't spend any new inventory. That's actually not true. That's only because the garage sale stuff that y'all have seen, I have not put that in Flipwise yet. So I did spend, I don't even know, maybe $5 or $6 at a garage sale. So that's technically wrong. I'll need to update that after this. But the cost of goods that sold over the past 7 days were $68.14. Marketplace fees at $218 and $154 in shipping label costs. I did get 39 new listings, so that's above my goal. Usually per week, I try to get 35, which is 5 per day. So I beat my goal, but only 21 sales. So eBay's just been kind of slow this past week. Has it been slow for you as well? Looks like my average time to list over the last 7 days was 3 days, and average time to sell was 5 months, and a big 887% ROI based on some of the stuff that I sold. But let's take a look at some of the stuff that I've sold over the last 7 days. Actually, I'm going to do the last 14 days because last week I didn't do a regular Monday video. I just was talking about some AI tools and didn't do my sales or anything like that. So we're going to draw from the top 10 here, coming from both this past week and the week prior. Coming in at number 10 here is this really weird back patch for a jacket or something like this. Where did I get this? It's really old. A garage sale back in... Actually, wasn't that old. For some reason, I thought it was older than that. But anyway, I got it back in March of 2025. So only a few months ago. That's weird. I don't know. Time is weird. Anyway, I paid $1 for it. Look at that. It's a weird looking tiger. You don't see a tiger looking like, it looks like it has makeup on or something. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the vibe is I'm getting from this tiger. I would say it's not a good vibe though. It's like, I don't know, it kind of makes me uneasy. So glad to get it out the door at $31.98. Took 5 months to sell. My net return was $22.03. I think this thing went international, but just thought it was a very weird patch here of a tiger that I knew somebody was gonna want and like, and yeah. Glad to get it out of the house because it was creeping me out. Coming in at number 9 is this Fisher-Price Great Adventures Night. So this is an interesting one. I got this one at a garage sale back in May. I did pay $5 for it, but actually I paid $10 for a lot of them. And this is interesting because I was at this garage sale. There was a bag of these Fisher-Price little toys, and on the bag it said $10. It said contains rare invisible night. And so that was just, a clue for me as a reseller that, okay, that maybe that is going to be worth some money. And so I ended up just looking up the invisible night alone and seeing that it was worth $30 or $40. So at $10 for the whole bag, I was like, okay, great. So this invisible night had sold here a couple days ago. When did it sell? Back in end of July, it sold for $36.98. That's $29.99 plus $6.99 in shipping. The net return on this was $22.74. But the bag of the other stuff sold a while back. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, so this was the rest of the things. This is the rest of the figures that were in the bag there. And it sold for $21.98, so it has $7.83 net return. So if you take that and add it to the net return of that, it's about a $30 net return on that. So again, it's just kind of interesting. Sometimes if you keep your eyes open at a garage sale, you'll find that people are doing your research for you. And so this person, I probably would not have picked up this bag and really considered it unless they wrote on there like, hey, this contains some sort of rare piece. And it was. I can't remember how or why it was rare. It was like, I guess it was a mail-in. Back in the day, sometimes you'd have to like mail in for, have a proof of purchase to get a special thing. Yeah, it's this mail-away figure. So anyway, somebody wanted this thing for $36.98. Happy to get it out the door. Coming in at number 8, this was a box of dollhouse furniture. So y'all might remember this. I just bought this at a garage sale not that long ago, back in June. It took about a month to sell. I paid $3 for the entire box. Actually, that's not true. I think I paid $5 for the entire box, but I pulled a couple individual pieces out of it and sold them separately and had a cost of goods of $1 each on those. So I gave a $3 cost of goods on the rest of the box there, but it sold in about a month for $42.98. That's $35.99 plus $6.99 in shipping. The net return on this one, $24.70. I just took a gamble on this one. I figured a box of miniature dollhouse stuff for $5 is probably a pretty good bet. And yeah, I knew somebody was going to want it. The price was really low. It took a little bit, about a month to sell, but really not that bad. And yeah, I was happy with this pickup. I remember when I showed it off on the channel, a lot of you in the comments said, oh yeah, that was a good pickup. So coming in at number 7 is this Lululemon Everywhere bag. Y'all might remember this in the video that I did about eBay's new pricing tool, how you can set it to reduce your price over time if you want to. And this is the example that I used of a time where I thought it made sense to use that auto price reduction tool. Typically, I don't think it makes sense to use it unless you just have a difficult time understanding the value of an item. And for this item in particular, this was a newer model of this Everywhere belt bag, and there were no comps for used versions of this. So they had used comps for different colors and specialty colors, but there was no used comps for black bags, only new comps. And so I just didn't really know what the used value was. And so I just picked a few dollars lower than some of the new comps. And then I set it to reduce the price every 7 days, but it didn't even make it to that. So it sold at full price in 4 days. So the pricing tool in that situation didn't end up helping me because it sold before it had a chance to reduce the price at all. My net return on this was $26.54 on this Lululemon Everywhere belt bag. Coming in at number 6 is this Kohler undermount bathroom sink. I sold it in 3 months for, what did it go for? It went for $89.07 free shipping. My net return on that was $44 or $47.71. The cost of ship, really not that bad, $17.22. This did go international, but through the international shipping program. So I did not have to ship it to the actual international destination. I shipped it to eBay's international shipping warehouse. I think it's somewhere outside of Chicago. And then they repackage it and ship it off to the final destination. I love international shipping orders through that program because it's a done deal. Once it makes it to the warehouse, any damage or any returns are completely handled by eBay at no expense to you. So especially with a big sort of fragile item like this, I was really happy to have that go international. But, I think that's the first sink that I've sold, and it was kind of funny just to sell this sink international. It was a heavy thing too. It was probably weighed 30 pounds, I would say. I think it was like a cast iron type enamel. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was pretty heavy, and I was happy to have that go international. This is a part of a bulk buy that I did with a bunch of different fixtures. Let's see how that's doing. I haven't checked in on it in a while. Looks like, total active list value still left is $5,700. So that's of the 77 items that are actively listed. That total active list value is $5,700. So with my average margins being 50 to 60%, I've got about $2,500 to $3,000 in net return still left to sell. But I've already netted $3,695. So this bulk buy is already done really, really well. Looks like I've sold 110 items from it. So still selling. Coming in at number 5 is this Jim Shore Disney Halloween pumpkin thing. I bought this at a garage sale for $10 almost 2 years ago. This is one I'm just really shocked that it's taken this long to sell. I did sell it once before, but it got returned. Back in October of 2024, it sold, and coming up on Halloween again, I figured it would sell again. It sold last time for $70 plus $9.99 in shipping, so about $80. But I think that they put the reason is like, bought my mistake. So whatever, I have no questions asked returns. And so you can return it for any reason. Relisted it, and it sold for a little bit more. So $90 this time. So my net return on this order was $50.36. But if you consider in the expense of the return, my net return in total was $31.66 for the this item. So I made a little bit less based on that return, but still happy with $31.66 there on this Jim Shore Minnie Mouse Halloween pumpkin. I'm just not sure why it took as long as it did to sell. I thought this was going to be a really quick sell. All right, coming in at number 4 is this Coleman lantern. I pick these up usually whenever I see them, especially if they are new. I don't really pick up the used ones as much anymore unless they're really, really valuable. Especially if there's like fuel in them, because then, you can't ship it when there's fuel in them, and I don't have a good way of disposing of the fuel. I'm sure there's an easy way. I just don't like dealing with it. Plus, my wife does the shipping, and she's like, stop buying these things. I don't want to deal with them. But this thing was brand new in the box. I can't remember what era it was from. I think it was from the 80s or 90s. But anyway, it's just brand new. Had never been used, had no fuel in it, had never had fuel in it. I paid $20 at a garage sale back in May, and it sold for $109.98. The net return was $63.05 on this one. So really, really cool find. I love just like these new old stock things, especially like a Coleman lantern is really, I don't know, really cool to find that new. And I've sold a couple new ones in the past just because when they're used, they're typically really used. They're dirty, been out in the woods and camping and dented up and things like that. So it's really cool to just find a nice, new, pristine, vintage Coleman lantern like this. Coming to number 3, check this one out. This is a Department 56 Margaritaville Lost Shaker of Salt bar. This thing is like a Christmas piece, I think. Something you might put in a Christmas village that's Margaritaville themed. Margaritaville people love their Margaritaville stuff, and it goes for a lot of money. Check that out, $239.98. That's $224 plus $15 in shipping. Look at my cost of goods here, $2 at a garage sale back in June. Just an incredible price. In fact, I got 3 pieces from this same garage sale that have all sold now. Let's take a look at them. So we got this first one here that I'm just talking about, $239.98 it sold for. Actually, I got more than 3. There was several. So this was a holiday ornament for $41, and I got a $30 net return. This Margaritaville Party in Paradise parrot was $37.58 net return. Just all sorts of crazy stuff there. There's one missing here. Where is that other one? Why does it not have it on there? Let me see here. Oh, it's because I misspelled Margaritaville. Look at that. It already sold, but yeah, I misspelled Margaritaville on that one. $214.98 on this Santa Claus one that I was showing during the AI tool creation back there. But that was a really good one too. Anyway, just an incredible sale. This last one finally out the door. I made, close to $500, maybe more, from this one garage sale, picking up some Margaritaville stuff for less than $10. The purchase price on all of them were like $2 or $3. It was just really, really crazy. Really good find on that. Definitely keep an eye out for Department 56 stuff, especially when they are collaborations with other brands like Margaritaville, for example. One of my best finds ever was a series of Department 56 Grinch. Was it Grinch? Yeah, Grinch, like little houses that I bought for $5 each, and they sold for $700-800 each. So just incredible. Keep an eye out for stuff like that. This was a really, really good sale. Coming in at number 2, check out these glasses. These are some weird looking glasses from Christian Dior. Futuristic is what they were called. They're little tortoiseshell glasses, but look at that. They sold for $248.86 in only 22 days. I sort of forgot that I had these. I've had a lot of sunglasses from a couple of bulk buys over the past several months, and I just have had sunglasses everywhere, and these were sort of tucked in the back, and I forgot about them, and I listed them, and they sold in 3 weeks for that amount. So the net return on this one was $190.41. Just a really good find on these Christian Dior sunglasses. They're really interesting looking. You don't see glasses like that every day. That leaves us with number 1, one of my best sales in a very, very long time. Just an incredible, incredible piece of music history here, and the timing could not have been better. And unfortunately, Ozzy Osbourne passed, although at 74 or 75 years old, however old he was, and the amount of drugs and the life that he lived, I think he ended up living to a very good age, I would say. But anyway, this was from the consignment deal that I was talking about earlier. This was a signed poster from Ozzy Osbourne. It was also signed by over 30 other people in other bands, like Megadeth and White Zombie and Typo Negative, and I don't even remember, Faith No More. Just tons of people had signed this thing. I ended up putting it on auction because it met the criteria for when I use auctions. The demand was high, the supply was low, basically one. This is a one-of-a-kind piece, and it had an unknown market value. I just didn't know how to price this thing. Is it worth $100, $1,000, $10,000? I don't know. I wanted the market to decide what it was worth, especially given the timing that Ozzy Osbourne had just died. And it sold, I think, pretty well. It sold for over $1,000, including shipping. You'll see my net return on it was only $429.44. That's because, again, it was a consignment. So I have that expense applied up here as a consignment. So I know that I need to pay out my friend there for his half of the net return. But yeah, I made $429.44 on this incredible sale of this poster. Just a really, really cool piece. It was just really fun to sell this. I've got so much other stuff like this. If you can browse around my eBay store and just see some of the crazy stuff that's in there, just really, really cool. But really happy to get this out to a new owner, someone who just, I hope they really like this. Or maybe they're another reseller. Maybe they think they can get more for it. More power to them. I'm happy to, I don't mind that. I don't mind selling to other resellers if they want to come in there and get it at a good price, think they can get more for it, more power to them. But whatever happens to it, it was just really fun to be a part of this sale on this one at such an interesting time in rock history. So, all right. Lights out. Man, this is like the busiest time of year for me in early August. There's like all sorts of things going on. Both of my kids have their birthday. They're 2 years and 2 days apart. So one's birthday is August 9th. One's birthday is today, August 11th. And they're turning 12 and 14. And so it's just like a really busy week because it's also back to school. So my kids go back to school tomorrow. But just trying to organize back to school and organize 2 birthdays and 2 birthday parties and then like family birthday parties. It's just an insane amount of activities during 1 week. And then like also it's like I can't tell you how many donuts and cookies and cupcakes and cakes and pies I've eaten over this past week. I just need to do a complete detox. Like I can just feel my body revolting and trying to reject the sugar that I keep feeding it. So I really am going to do a detox. I'm going to do like no sugar for the next like month and just let my body go back to normal after all of this crazy time of birthdays. But yeah, kids are back to school, so routines are about to shift dramatically. And I think, with garage sale season kind of winding down, I'll probably also start to reintroduce thrift stores back into my routine more frequently, more estate sales back into my routine more frequently. So depending on the time of year, I'm sort of shifting around the places that I go and source inventory. So once fall comes around, I'm doing more estate sales and I'm doing more thrift stores and less garage sales. So that'll be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.